I think Basil Araj, one of his big points that he used to emphasize a lot was that there's a lot of things that we have normalized that we should never
Hmm.
view as normal. There are things that have been imposed on us and have we come to expect after 100 years that are not natural and not should not be tolerated. Uh, and he died basically in a firefight with the occupation soldiers. He was called the engaged intellectual because he wrote and he also had a weapon and was actually like engaged in armed struggle against his occupiers.
Very well read,
Yeah.
and that was the answer that he found when he says, "I have found my answer."
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if you wanna take like if you wanna take this like boring, let's say realpolitik view of the world that you try to measure our powers and asymmetry, there's no single liberation movement in the world that could have possibly won if you would have followed that account. Who would have thought that tribes in the mountains of Algeria could have beat the French Empire? Or that like the Viet Cong were able to defeat the napalm and the helicopters of the Americans. Because if you try to look at this from a point of view of balance of power, it's like it's difficult to imagine this force winning. But there are a lot of other aspects that need to be kept in mind. There's this like the ideology. This is their homeland, defending it. This is they have the future of their children to fight for. Like a lot of Palestinian songs emphasize that I'm carrying my rifle today so that my child could carry a sickle. Like we want to go back to our agricultural and pastoral lives. Like this is not like something that this is not part of us, but this is something that's forced on us. And Palestinian political slogans used to say "Tahrir al-insan wal-ard," which is to liberate the people and the land. So these are two different things, because to be able to liberate the land, we need to liberate the people too. And part of this liberation is kind of tearing down this normalcy of colonialism and occupation and all these things that we take for granted that are not actually a part of nature. Like even things today, like the whole concept of a nation state was barely invented a few, like to what, 200 years ago, less than 200 years ago. Things that seem like they're ancient are actually very modern inventions that seem like they're kind of a part of history. Even the power of kings, which seemed like the nothing would ever challenge that for thousands of years, now is obscure. So I don't think that like the future is a blank check. It's that hasn't been written yet. Like the future uh, is full of possibilities, and being able to dream of those possibilities, that is the first and crucial step to be able to act upon that. And I think October 7th really opened the gates to our imaginations, because who could have thought 20 years ago only that the inmates of the Gaza ghetto were able to break through. And 70% of these people are refugees. So they were actually going back to the communities that they were expelled from. Like the villages, like the Israeli settlements outside of Gaza, are built on the ruins of the villages of these people. But you thought that you could live on the ruins. You thought you could live at their expense forever. But no, they are coming back, and you can never, ever be safe as long as you're doing what you're doing and living at our expense. And this is only not only legal and moral and just, but this is how things will go.